This material has been prepared for informational purposes only and is not intended to provide and should not be relied on for medical or legal advice. You should consult your own medical or legal advisors for specific and personalized advice. Made possible through support from Alliance Colorado, CCDC Colorado Cross Disability Coalition, Developmental Pathways, and the Arc of Aurora. THINK+change Talks. Cannabis and Disability, a series of different perspectives. A policy perspective.
So my name is Ashley Weber, and I am Executive Director of Colorado NORML. Colorado NORML is the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. So we work at a state level where we try to create the best laws for consumers and the industry. I would have never got into policy or politics or legislation or anything had it not been for what I went through. I was 18, I was injured in a car accident, and I broke my cervical spine 1, 4, 5, and exploded 6, and am now paralyzed and in a wheelchair. In 2012, I got a letter from the housing authority, and it was because I have federal funds on a federal housing voucher, and I am a cannabis patient, and I was smoking cannabis and using cannabis. So when I received this letter, we were facing homelessness, and they weren't seeing the bigger picture of medical marijuana being legal since 2000, and here it is 2012, and you're going to evict someone for use of something that's been legal. We ended up winning our case, and we were the first nationally to actually set a precedent for that. And now I just need to protect patients and patients' rights. So Colorado NORML, from a policy perspective, first approaches government officials in a manner where information and education is discussed, and we follow that up by some type of a legislation. We look at where the gaps are in the cannabis industry and try to create the best legislation for the state and the consumers. We set priorities for the upcoming session at the Capitol and create coalitions with other organizations who will be interested in changing the same policy. And our goals are always to end criminal cannabis prohibition and assure that responsible adults have legal access to high quality marijuana that is safe, convenient, and affordable. At a state level, decriminalization will mean no jail time for possession and often no criminal offense, making this only a civil violation. And legalization means access to a consumer's marketplace. But at a federal level, it just becomes complicated because technically descheduling at a federal level is legalization. And it's legalization because it will end the marijuana prohibition. But it does not require states to set up consumer marketplaces. So the states that are illegal will still continue to be illegal. So when everybody is like, oh, we just can't wait till the federal government legalizes, they don't understand that so much falls into the state that they live in, into the local municipalities that they live in. Medical cannabis is still illegal at a federal level. Amendment 10 is what we are protected by, the individual states. It was intended to confirm the understanding of the people at the time when the Constitution was adopted. The powers are reserved to the states or to the people. And that can be interpreted many different ways, as we've seen the Supreme Court's interpreted different. But if you look in the Constitution, states really don't have rights, but people do. So the people of the state are who really have the rights. And that's just to not give so much power to the federal government. The Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement Act, this was actually introduced in 2019. And this would remove cannabis from the controlled substance list. It would legalize medical marijuana on a federal level. However, there's going to be a 5% excise tax, and that's going to be pretty much absorbed by the cultivator and to the distributor and not to the consumer. His name was Jack Split. He was one of the sweetest kids I have ever met. And his mom is a fighter, Stacey Lynn, and I just give her a shout out because she has done so much with policy and moving this law forward. And it created and it helped so many other students in the school. So what this law did, it allowed children to have their medical cannabis on school grounds, or actually it wasn't on school grounds. The parent had to administer it off of school grounds, and that was the stipulation in order to get it passed. Now, that was passed in 2016. If you fast forward to 2018, there was an amendment that was introduced into Jack's Law and was adopted, and that one's called Quinton's Amendment, and it passed in 2018, and this allowed a school nurse to administer the cannabis on campus. So in order for that legislation to pass, it was put in there that schools would be able to opt out if they felt the need to. And now schools are opting out because they are saying they're going to lose federal funding if they do so. As a consumers-based organization, we definitely need to know what our consumers need. So we just have to keep an open dialogue with a lot of people and never have a closed mind, honestly, because you'll learn something new at every turn.
Think, Change Talks.